Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another and final episode of season 2 of the Growth Invitation. In this season, as you all know, I am so committed to bringing on powerful females from all around the world to share our stories of challenges and growth as an invitation and inspiration for you all, so that you know, no matter what you are doing, what you're going through, where you are now, whatever your starting point is, you can always choose to grow and manifest your dream future. So today, you may recognize my guest, Alexis Hunter. Hi, Alexis.
Hi.
So, Alexis, for those of you who have been following me on this season, you will have seen Alexis pop up a few times. And the reason why I have brought her back, and I'm super mega excited about this episode, our finale for season 2, is because it's been just over a year that I started this season. And I thought, what a better way than to actually bring back my very first guest of the season to actually talk about in real time, in real life, how our lives have changed, how we have grown, and what we've manifested over this year or so. I think we can safely say a hell of a lot has changed for us.
Yeah. Big time. Wow. I'm just
How do you?
taking it all in and trying to wrap my mind around October 2024 seems like it was ages ago because of how much has happened in 14 months time.
It's absolutely crazy, right?
Yeah.
So everyone is aware. As a little bit of homework that I set for myself and Alexis, I actually got us to rewatch our own episodes.
Mhm.
So we both rewatched Alexis' episode, uh, and also we rewatched my episode, which was like, oh my God. I don't know. I must not be I know I'm not the only one in the world who hates rewatching back themselves.
You're not. You're not.
So my episode was the 29th of April. So, and even, I mean, that was this year, and it feels like that was years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're ready, Alexis, let's go straight in.
Okay.
Okay. I think, first of all, let's start off with, please, can you give a new introduction to my audience as to who you are right now?
Yes, absolutely. So it's not that far off from where I was in October of last year. Last year, I introduced myself as a transformation coach who focused on helping people heal and find joy after loss. And there was a lot of focus around my widowhood journey. And I believe I had just gotten married for the second time a few months prior. So since then, I my identity as a coach has continued to evolve. And there's always been this sense around transformation. Transformation is always going to be my sweet spot, if you will. However, as I've continued to evolve and grow, what I've realized and where I am right now is really focusing on Christian creatives and people that feel called to create, not just from a sense of love for the arts, but really a calling on their life and recognizing, and I think this is a universal thing, but when we're called to create and to put out into the world, that is which what is within us. That's a tongue twister, but really pulling out the beauty and the glory that represents who God is and putting it out into the world. There is always, and I say that confidently, always going to be resistance. There's always going to be something that wants to come up against that. And oftentimes we don't recognize that things like inconsistency, things like struggling with just showing up, oftentimes are representative of things happening underneath the surface. So sometimes we're not fully aware that, okay, my perfectionism and my fear is actually connected to a past trauma that I didn't know was there, that I didn't know was manifesting itself in my creative work. And so where I am right now, it's very laser focused in terms of how I show up and how I aid. So again, helping Christian creatives break cycles of being inconsistent so they can stop hiding and start posting. Because, I mean, the truth of the matter is we're living in a time right now where we need more beauty. We need more art. We need more creativity. We need more color infused back into the world. And so we need more creatives showing up and showing up confidently. And so that's the gap that I stand in.
I love that. And you know, I really picked up on one word that you said, evolved.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of us go into our lives and go into our personal development journey thinking of change. I want to change this. I want to change that. I want to be this, be that. But we don't often say the word evolve as if we have to. And we do talk about like we have to let our old selves die in order for new selves to come. But it's not actually completely die because we can never start from ground zero again. We're always on our previous experiences. So I love how you actually said, well, you have moved and you have transitioned, but it's actually an evolution rather than it being a pure, I changed my title. I
Right.
changed my identity. It's an
Yeah.
evolution. So I love that.
Yeah.
And as I look back on my journey, I mean, my job title, career title, shall we call it, my business title, it hasn't changed, but my God, has the inside changed.
Mm.
The insides are definitely not the same ones that were on that episode
Mm.
6 months ago, eight
Yeah.
months ago. So let me ask you a question, Alexis. Now, obviously, we just talked about the actual identity,
Hmm.
which outwardly we choose to label ourselves.
Hmm.
But what about inwardly? When we recorded that first episode together, where were you mentally,
Mm.
emotionally?
Wow. Um,
By the way, she doesn't know the questions I'm going to ask her.
yeah. So I'm trying not to think too long, but if I remember correctly, I was in a place of, I don't know how to say this without it coming off somewhat negative, but it's the most honest way that I could put it, and it was this false sense of certainty. I was really locked into the community that I served, the people that I served, who I thought I was at that time. And there was almost this fixation and a lack of flexibility in it that from that time, because I'm thinking like, okay, October, things were actually kind of okay. But I had that version of Alexis, October 2024, Alexis had no idea what was coming in the coming months. And part of the reckoning that I had went through in early 2025 was that reckoning of like letting go of who I thought I was in October 2025. I mean, October 2024. So when I think about that time, I think I was feeling good. I was feeling confident. I was feeling assured. I was feeling certain, not realizing that I was actually at the doorpost of a new season. I was crossing the threshold into something new that I didn't even recognize at the time until I was in it. So it was an interesting time. It was fun while it lasted.
And actually, I remember, like, we talked a lot at that time, and we were really talking about that journey, and obviously kind of almost still celebrating the fact that you just got married, like your second time, which I
Yeah.
think, for those of you who know Alexa's story, if you don't, please go and watch back episode 1. But like, you kind of probably weren't aware that it was going to happen at that point.
Right.
And then to then be able to actually get married again and, really fall in love with your current husband now, like, and then finding out what your purpose was.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really amazing. And that your certainty that you had, as you mentioned, was really incredible. And you were like, yep, I know exactly where I'm going. I knew exactly what's going to happen. And this is how I'm going to do it. And you even had your structures in place already for your courses. But that was before, like you said, the next version of yourself was
Right.
about to emerge.
Right. Yeah. What about you?
Well, when I'm going to answer this kind of like in two different ways. So
Okay.
when we recorded our first episode together with you as my guest, I was really scared.
I remember.
It was my first time doing a live.
Mm-hmm.
We have a season 1, and that was just free recording and a hell of a lot of editing. That
Mm-hmm.
Our first episode was the first time I'd ever done a real live and just let it happen online.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, even though you were my guest, you were virtually holding my hand. So thank you for that. I
Yeah.
remember being like, I know I can do this, but my brain was trying so hard to override it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we didn't have that in the calendar and we didn't actually make the appointment, I probably wouldn't have shown up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I also remember, my episode where you interviewed me. Again, I was in a place of certainty and uncertainty. I was certain, similar to you, I was certain that I knew what I was doing. I was certain that my coaching is amazing and it transforms lives. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I was uncertain about some of the aspects of myself. Because
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't know that I was on the brink of another upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't aware at that point that what I was evolving into was inner freedom.
Wow.
And I had the tools. I had days when I was like, yep, I'm living the life, I'm living the dream. But I also had days when I was like, this ain't the dream. This
Yeah.
ain't no dream of mine. Like, take
Yeah.
it from me. I don't want it. And I remember that very clearly because actually, as I rewatched the episode, some of the memories of that time came back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, first of all, Wow, that sounds wise. Well done, past Jeanette. The advice that was given. But also, I did remember like the in between having recorded that and the time when I rewatched it, like now, like recently, that time in between, I was in flux.
Mm.
I was in the valley, like the deep, deep, deep down.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to kind of look back at those. And so if I was to ask you to look back, Alexis, to
Mm.
the version of you from a year ago, what would you say, or what do you think she was carrying that actually you're no longer carrying anymore?
Whew. That I'm no longer carrying. Hmm.
It's a deep question.
That is a deep question. I think something that I've come to learn, I think, through 2025, that now looking back at 2024, I didn't realize the pressure that I had put on myself.
Mm.
And it was almost like something that I took on as a personality trait. Like, I am responsible. I am the responsible one. Like, responsibility is my personality. And what that did was it didn't account or didn't allow for joy to exist.
Oh.
It didn't allow for flexibility to exist. It was a very rigid lifestyle and way of living. And I didn't realize how unhappy I was
Mm.
being that version of myself. I also was carrying within that this idea that I am the source. And even it's very interesting because I didn't realize how counterintuitive that was as a person of faith, as a Christian. It's very counterintuitive to think of yourself as the end all be all to your world. But I didn't realize it because it had become so inundated in my personality. And since then, I have been in countless circumstances and situations where it has been revealed to me that I am not the end all be all. I do not have to be responsible all the time. And it's funny because, I had talked about in our first episode, like I help people heal and find joy after loss. And I didn't realize, like, somewhere down the road, I had drifted away from choosing my own joy.
Mm.
I had really let that go. It became optional. And I realized joy is not something that's circumstantial. And I think I knew that, but it became a lived experience. Like, regardless of what the circumstances are, you always have access to joy. You don't have to carry everything yourself. You don't have to wear this badge of responsibility, of just everything is on me in order to feel this sense of security. And so now I'm in a place where, and I've let that go, because I think that was your question. Like, what were you carrying back then that you're not carrying now? And there's so much more peace. There's a lot more uncertainty, but I have become more comfortable with uncertainty, where back then I despised it. I was very avoidant of uncertainty. And now I'm like, okay, it's not my favorite, but I can tolerate it. I can tolerate it. I can be at ease around it, and it has made for a much more peaceful, flexible life. And you get to see like miracles happen. You get to see the unexpected happen when you're not trying to force things to work or force things to happen. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was like, I realized it's not that I don't like surprises. It's that I prefer the unexpected. And to me, there's a difference.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
surprise, I can sniff a surprise a mile away, and I don't like it because when I start asking questions and people try to hide it, now I feel like you're lying to my face because I know something's going on. I know something's happening. I know it. Like, my husband has a very hard time surprising me, right?
Olive.
Yeah. But the unexpected, I have no idea. I am completely unaware, and it's very hard to catch me unaware. It's very hard. But it can be done. It can be done. And those are the moments that really bring me a lot of joy. And so releasing that sense of ownership of everything has allowed more room for that to happen.
I really, really love that because I think just we are taught to be so aware.
Yeah.
We are trained to be aware. We
Yeah.
are trained to be like on 24/7
Yeah.
actually as coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
As people who love transformation, as people who are devoted in personal development,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it can become a burden. And so I love that you become aware enough to actually let that go. It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to hold it all in. I don't have to be all of me, and it's okay to just let other people help me and
Mm-hmm.
pick up some of my slack. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think from my side, like what you shared, I definitely like resonate with it because I am also guilty of that. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
must be done. I have my own business. Like, I am the only one who can do this. And I just go, 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 go. But I think for me, one really important thing that I let go of over the past, not even year, I would say it all started in 2024, but I think I completed completed the releasing and the letting go probably closer to this last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
It's I feel like I was carrying so much like lack of self-trust
Mm.
and lack of self-belief that I didn't even realize that I was stinting my own growth.
Yeah.
And I was listening to an episode or a podcast today, and it was a podcast by Rich Litvin, and he was talking to his coachee about how actually it's easier. Well, there's a different mindset between a 10x mindset and a 2x mindset.
Yeah.
And I think the 2x mindset is so reachable
Mm-hmm.
that we try for it really, really, really hard because we're like, it's 2x. But
Yeah.
actually, our capabilities are 10x.
Right.
And that episode gave me this language that kind of actually, it makes sense to me that if we just got out of our own way, miracles can happen. All of these things, so much can happen without
Mm-hmm.
us having to try and control it and trying to do
Mm-hmm.
it all.
Right.
So I think like the biggest thing for me that I've let go of is the lack of self-trust and that actually going, you know what, Jeanette? You're actually pretty good at this thing
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
life. Like, You're okay.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
you're doing, and you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that growth in you too, and it's been a really inspiring and beautiful. The word that's coming to mind is blossom. Like seeing you blossoming into that and recognizing some of the things that I know just doing life with you. Um, Seeing you own it and walk into that has been a really inspiring thing to see. And I think I love what you said about the mindset. It's interesting. I had this thought the other day. There's a conference that I'm aware of. I've attended it in the past. And I said, I would love to be a panelist on this conference one day. Like, and it's a major conference. Really, really big thing happens once a year. And I was like, who do I need to be to get the attention of the person who hosts this conference? This
Oh,
is kind of like a
great
hypothetical, but
question.
who was that?
Great question. I love that. Oh, that's a powerful
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I was like, who? Because some of the people that I've seen on that panel at past conferences, I know it's typically someone who has emerged in the marketplace as a voice of whatever it is that they're there to speak about. And if I were to tell you some of the names, you'd be familiar with them. So I'm like, who do I have to become to not necessarily um, like do PR and reach out and get their attention, but like who do I just have to be? What do I need to embody within myself in order to gain that attention, to be on that stage? And I realized there was a major gap in the way that I thought and perceived myself.
Mm.
And that translated to how I show up online, in my business. And I realized, like, okay, it does require that shift from, hey, I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to do good. I just want to be a good coach. To, no, I am a good coach. I do have something to offer that is unique to my experiences, and I have something to contribute or to add to the conversation as a whole, as a people conversation, a human conversation. I have something to add to that, and standing firm on that. And that is so directly correlated to trusting yourself,
Mm.
trusting what you have, trusting what's within you. And being able to, I mean, yeah, there's some things like, okay, I need to be able to articulate it a little bit better. I need to maybe get back to reading some of the things that I used to read, continue my education. But the fact of the matter is that I recognize what needs to shift, but I also recognize what I already have too, and
Mm.
trust that thing. So I'm really glad you touched on it, because that's such a major key that I think a lot of people who want to do good and want to be seen, not for the sake of being seen, but for the sake of contributing. Like, you can't contribute if nobody sees you. And so allowing yourself to be seen by trusting what it is that's within you and what you have to share, that's a major shift.
Yeah, I love what you just said. Like honestly, it's like we're all here to do good.
Yeah.
Most people are here to do good. Let's face,
Yeah.
like I really believe everyone has an element of kindness in them, and they want to do good for someone. Might not be for the masses, but to someone.
Yeah.
But if the other person doesn't see it, or no one else sees it, if it's en masse, then,
Mm-hmm.
well, are you really, can you have as much impact as you would like to have or as you are capable of having?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's really big. So I really think the question you asked was so powerful. And I think everyone should be asking themselves that, just replace the hostess event, to whatever it is that you were doing, because The gap is where is the missing piece.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that awareness, I actually have this book here.
Yes.
That's then you become who you, it's the journey of becoming.
Right.
And the journey that, and basically in layman's terms, that is in everyday terms, that essentially is the journey to adopting that identity.
Yeah.
So I love that question. I'm definitely going to go and do that question and answer that question straight after this.
Yes.
I have another quite deep question, if I
Okay.
may. What do you think was the biggest contributor to this successful version of you right now?
Wow. Say the question one more time?
What would you say is the biggest contributor to this successful version of you right now?
Okay. Wow. Um, Surrender. Um, and see, I thought I was doing good because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna cry. And I would say surrender. I think when I think about this past year, and because at first I was gonna say challenges, right? And that's kind of, everybody says that. But when I thought about it, I'm like, everybody goes through challenges, but that doesn't necessarily equal perseverance. It doesn't equal, challenges don't equal success. It's what you do as a result of those challenges. And for me, the only consistent thread that I can identify in this moment, in this particular moment, has been surrender. Surrendering to things not going my way, surrendering to my ego, or not to my ego, but surrendering my ego to say, okay, in this moment, I feel stripped of every title, every accolade, every knowledge that I thought I had. And I'm recognizing that I actually don't know as much as I thought I did. I'm recognizing that I'm not as in control as I thought I was. And there's something really beautiful, especially when you have, a higher power. There's a beautiful exchange that happens when you surrender. It's very anti-world, right? Or world system, where in the world system, the idea is if you give up something, you lose. But when you operate with a higher power, you actually gain. And for me, that's what I contribute my success. I gained so much when I said, you know what, God, I don't want to do this my way. I can't do this my way. And I got quicker at getting to that stage.
When we
It's just,
get out of our own damn way,
yeah, yeah,
things happen.
yeah. I when your heart is postured in a state of surrender, it's not the same as being like a doormat. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an openness to looking at things from a different perspective, having a level of acceptance, like understanding, like, okay, this is something that's out of my control versus something that is. And that to me has allowed me to grow and I think expand mentally, intellectually, spiritually. My capacity has expanded because I've made room by letting go of things that I thought I needed to keep. But in fact were not serving me or had no function in where I was being led and how I was evolving. So yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because I'm actually quite. It's interesting if from the outside looking in, if you looked at my life now, I have a lot less things than I did in 2024. But if you really looked under the surface and like talk to me, I am so much richer now than I was then. Because you
Yeah.
can't take away what I've learned and what I've gained now. And you can, there's only up from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, at this point, I really want to say that I'm so proud of you. And I really, really want to take this chance to celebrate you for showing up for yourself. Like, we've had many conversations about how I think outwardly, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, a lot of people think that, like, and they know that, like, when you're in your element, you are mega confident. You really, really are. But there are times when the place gets a little dark
Yeah.
and you lose a bit of that shininess.
Hmm.
And what I really admire about you is that you, yes, it happens, but then at some point you go, okay, I'm just gonna let it happen. You're not fighting it anymore. And then you run with it, you let it get dark, and then you go, okay, I think that's enough darkness now. Let's come
Yeah.
back out on the other
Yeah.
side. And like literally over the past few months, just watching you grow, watching your content grow, watching the way that you're like, I've never done this before. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
no one has ever seen me in this light, like people who don't know me. But I'm gonna do it anyway, because I just had this idea.
Hmm.
Like, that for me is the ultimate embodiment of feel the fear and do it anyway.
Right.
So I really celebrate you, Alexis. Well
Thank
done
you,
and
Jeanette.
congratulations on getting to this point.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot because I know you get a look behind the curtain. So to hear that from you means so much. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Um, so I would like to also share because I realize that I don't say this enough out loud. The thing that genuinely got me through this year, and there have been some very, very low times and very, very dark times, as you know, the thing that genuinely got me through this year was the immense support that I got.
Mm.
And I say that, I know it sounds really cheesy and I know I say it a lot, but like, I don't expect people to support me in the way that they do. I don't feel like I can reciprocate it in the way that, the way that people have given to me. And their literal, unwavering belief in me baffles me at times. I'm like, why do you believe in me so much that I don't even believe in myself? And if it hadn't been for all of the support that I got, whether it's like from my family, my parents especially, my partner, and even friends, you know, you and a few close ones, if you hadn't been here to be like, when I'm like, oh my God, that I don't know how I would have got through this year, because this year was hard. This year was really challenging.
Yeah.
And when I say, when going through so myself and Alexis both went through Lisa Nichols' transformational coaching certification program. They teach us that a great coach should never take the client to the depths that they have never been.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me when I say, we go all in.
We've been to some deep places.
Like really, really dark places. We're like, are there actually that many levels down there? Hell yes, there are. And it's that, like, this year was one of those years. It was dark and deep and scary. And I thought that I wasn't going to be able to come back out. But it's the unconditional support. So I just want to say this, like, have it recorded, that I want to thank every single person who has supported me. Maybe it's a message, maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's just a thought. Like, all of it has contributed to building a really mega solid foundation for me to stand on. That's now I can call self-belief, because I had to borrow so many other people's, because I keep pushing and going to places I've never been. And without that, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you. So as we start to wrap up this conversation, Alexis, we talked about the past, we talked about the present. I would like to take us into the future.
Okay.
2026. I mean, I'm like,
You have to
2026
lean back for
already.
that one.
When you think about 2026, what would you love to have more of? What would you love for your life to be like? What would success look like to you?
I think for 2026, one of my biggest goals is to lean more into my authority. I think I'm going to say this, and I hope the audience gets it, but at some point, you have to tell yourself, I know enough. I've studied enough. And it's not to say stop learning. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there comes a point where you have to step out on what you already know and allow yourself to grow in the light, like grow while you're going. And so to me, that's what stepping into my authority looks like. Allowing people to see me and to stand in that confidently. And we kind of just talked about that in terms of what was a contributor to success. And my goal, my hope, my vision for 2026 is to continue moving in that flow of, hey, I have been through some things, I've seen some things, I've learned some things, and I'm done hiding and waiting for the right time, or for when I know enough, or when I feel like I've been, somehow endowed with this amazing level of knowledge that I don't already have. But stepping into that authority and showing up as an authority in what I'm an expert in, just doing that. I think that is going to make 2026 look like something I've never seen before. And so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see growth in business. I'm excited to see growth in myself. I'm excited to see growth in my friends, and what we have going. Because again, as the world continues to evolve, there continues to be, and we've heard it, everybody's heard it, a need for genuine, authentic human interaction. There's so much artificial intelligence, and trust me, I am not anti AI by any means. I think it's a tool that can and has the ability to make your life easier, but I'm not a proponent of it replacing that human encounter and human interaction. And so I am really excited about what's to come for 2026, and just looking forward to being a global citizen that is contributing to this safe space for people to come and have these interactions that they so desperately need and desire. I know that's very like broad and almost flowery in a way, but to walk in the flow of surrender, sometimes you don't know what it's going to look like. You really don't. And I'm just open to, okay, God, where are we going? Where are you leading me? And my hope is that at the end of 2026, I can look back and have a milestone, or a remembrance stone of like every moment, and just have this collection of moments where surrender and authority were hand in hand, and just seeing this amazing growth. Like, I know that growth is going to happen. I just don't know what that looks like. And I'm honestly okay with that for right now.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that for you, and I think it is it's about continuing that journey of embodying surrender
Yeah.
and that 10x mindset rather than a 2x mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So what about you, Jeanette? What's on the docket for 2026?
Well, for 2026, I think my word of the year is going to be impact.
Mm.
Similar to you, um, I have had my share of learnings over the past year.
Mm.
I have had my share of dark spaces, but I've also learned to come to enjoy the surprise at the end of uncertain times.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't know this could happen. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite a fun thing to look back on.
Yeah.
But I also really pick up on your point earlier about you're not actually really making impact if if no one's seeing you.
Right.
And I had this realization that I know all of this stuff and all of these incredible tools, the processes that works, and I am like 200% 200% certain that they work. I know. Am I showing up in the way that enables me, that enables others to see me?
Mm. That's the
Not yet.
question. That's the question.
So 2026 is going to be my year of impact.
Mm.
And I'm not just talking about, oh, I got to go viral. I got to do. No, it's not about going viral. It's actually about reaching the people at the right space at the right time, so that, and in the right moment for them to actually, with the right language, that they can actually absorb the information that I share, the knowledge that I give to them, and be able to receive it. That's my goal. Because until one, I show up for myself fully, authentically, unapologetically, no one will want to see me. Energetically, I'm closed off. But the second part is if I'm too complicated or I'm just using coaching language, also no one's going to understand it apart from fellow coaches.
Right.
So it's about actually reaching the right people. For those who are ready for a transformation, I want them to see what is possible. And really, I want to bring possibility into this world. It's not just about opportunities anymore. It's about possibilities. Anything and everything is possible if we believe in ourselves and if we believe in it. So that's what I really want to bring to 2026.
Wow. Man, Jeanette, that's a word. And I
We
love
can
how you
share.
called out that in between, right? Like I need to be able to be seen, but I also need to allow myself to be seen by the people that need to see me. So it's not, there's also a level of responsibility to not just lean into what's comfortable, what I know, use a lot of coaching jargon. It is a very delicate dance almost of how do I distill what I know and understand in a way that people can receive it. And there's this, I want to use the word transaction, but it's deeper than a transaction. But there's an exchange. That's the word. There's this exchange of information that leads to impact. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
exciting.
And before we finally close off this chapter, this season, what is one thing that you would like to say to the version of you a year ago?
So I would tell that version of myself from 2024, thank you for not giving up. Thank you for not checking out. Because there was definitely moments when I wanted to. You did well. You did good. You did really good. It was a fight. It was a struggle, but you stayed in it. You didn't give up. And now I can take it from here. Hey, you got me, Jeanette. Yeah.
Love that. That's incredible. And I think I would say exactly the same thing to the version of me a year ago. Like, I don't think, I mean, looking back, I mean, with the power of hindsight, of course I knew I was going to get through it. But there were many times along the way that I thought I wasn't. So I also want to thank my past self for sticking with it, no matter how challenging things got, no matter how desperate and hopeless and rock bottom things got. Like, I'm in awe of her, actually.
Yeah.
How the hell you get through that, I don't know, but you did.
You did.
And similar to you, I want to tell her, my past self, don't worry, I got this. I got this now.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Well, Alexis, thank you so much for being so open, honest, vulnerable, authentic in this final episode, our finale. Um, Almost feel like it was definitely closing of a chapter for us, and also almost like a healing for
Yeah.
myself at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
To really go through this, and thank you for being here all this time. And I can't wait for us to continue to create together and play together. There's so much more to come from us, I'm sure. And, for those of you who have been watching, are watching this, and following the Growth Invitation, thank you for being here. And I know this message will reach you whenever it needs to reach you. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was deliberately done in this way so that because we wanted to share our genuine growth journeys. Like, it's not just some marketing content that we throw out. We
Mhm.
have been through it way deep down and come back out the other side this year.
Mhm.
And I want you to understand that no matter what you're going through, genuinely, you are strong enough to get out of this. If we are, you can do it too. So, on that note, thank you so much, everyone, for being here this season. Thank you, Alexis, for being here 3 times in this season. No doubt we'll see you again in season 3. Um, and I can't wait to bring on more impact, more authority, and more of us in 2026.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for having me too, Jeanette. It has been my honor and my pleasure to come alongside you, do life with you, and like you said, play together. So I wish you the best of luck in everything that you do, everything that you touch. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's in store for 2026. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. See you in 2026.
Bye.